Hello, Century 21 North Shore agents. This is Jim here, and I have a little coaching tip for you tonight. And the subject matter is, are you teachable? So think about that. Are you teachable? So I have some really interesting stats on this subject, and they go as follows. Did you know that 1/3 of all high school graduates never pick up a book again in their lifetime? 1 out of every 3 high school graduates never pick up a book again in their lifetime. And 40% of all college graduates never pick up a book in their lifetime. That means 4 out of 10 college graduates will never read another book again. 80% of U.S. families didn't buy a book in the past year. I mean, imagine 80%, 8 out of 10 families not reading a book. 70% of adults haven't been to a bookstore in the last 5 years. And 57 of new books purchased were not read to completion. So I think this really goes to the topic of, are we continuing to educate ourselves? Are we continuing to open up our minds to new things, to new opinions? And it really comes down to whether or not we believe that we have it all figured out. Because if we admit that we don't have it all figured out, we have an opportunity there. And the opportunity is to learn more and to educate ourselves more so that we become well-rounded and less opinionated. I had someone tell me a couple weeks ago that they're not into all that rah-rah stuff. And I get it. The rah-rah stuff, people just don't want to listen to somebody telling them how to do things, or they feel as though they're being told how to do things because they have it all figured out. And when you say that you're not into all that rah-rah stuff, I think what you're saying is you're not into learning opportunities. And learning opportunities are what help us as a species, I guess, to educate ourselves better, to learn more, and to make ourselves wiser and more well-rounded. If you think about it, and you think about how it pertains to real estate, would you agree that you've probably learned more in the last 5 years than you learned in the previous 10? I mean, we've experienced quite a difference in market in the last 5 years than we did the previous 10, even 20 years. So as we evolve and as we go forward in life, every day is another opportunity to learn. So I ask you to take these few simple tips that I think may help you. And one of them is to be more curious and less judgmental. Sometimes I found myself not a very good listener. I sometimes can't focus for too long a stretch because I've got a lot on my plate and I'm really busy. And what I've been trying to do and how I've tried to better myself is to be more curious and less judgmental. So in the past, if I'm getting information from a person and they're sharing some information, do you find that potentially you're more judgmental of the person giving the information than curious about the information that's being given? And what I've tried to do is become more curious about the information and disregard the judgmentalness of what I'm looking at as far as where the delivery method is coming from. Because once again, that's a way for me or for you to basically say, I don't have to listen to this person because I have it all figured out. And being able to admit that you don't have it all figured out is my second tip. So willingness to admit that you don't have it all figured out gives you another opportunity to learn more. And the third thing I would say, and I guess it's a two-part tip, would be to write stuff down. They say learning is the ability to remember. So if you write stuff down, then you don't have to continuously go back. I typically will carry a notebook. If you've seen me around, I typically have a notebook with me. I like to write stuff down. A lot of times I'm writing down notes about what I need to do, but at the same time, I write down things that I hear and things that I feel that might help me later on down the road, whether it be in life or in business. And the second part to this tip is I meet with everybody. I spent some time this morning with a new agent with our company. And I learned more in that meeting, or one-on-one meeting, than I learned in meetings that I've had with national speakers sitting in a room of 1,000 people. So my feeling is if I meet with everybody, that everybody has something to teach me. And if I take that on, I become more open, less judgmental, and more willing to learn. So that's all I have for you today, and I'll see you at the top.